iFi Audio has raised the bar for portable USB DACs with the release of the latest Diablo model, the iDSD Diablo 2 portable DAC amplifier. Believe it or not, the Diablo 2 is not the second, but the third iteration of the popular Diablo series, and it's the most striking portable DAC headphone amplifier in my opinion. The Diablo 2 is a complete redesign of the iconic chassis with an edgier shape and the addition of some neat Diablo wings that elevate how you display the Diablo 2. Not only has the Diablo 2 undergone a makeover, but it sports some pretty exciting hi-fi upgrades. An XMEMS technology switch, a new Nitro power mode, Bluetooth 5.4 with support for aptX lossless, and an IE match switch, and that's just to name a few. Let's hear from Drew Baird, PE, owner and founder of Moon Audio, on what he thinks about the Diablo 2.
Thanks, Kayla. Drew here from Moon Audio. I love it when manufacturers take what already works and add additional improvements, not just sound quality, but also bringing features up to today's standards. The Diablo 2 is not a ground-up new design. The original Diablo was very successful, but had a few things that we wish had been changed, especially the male USB-A connection on the back. While I get it for the Apple CCK nonsense we all had to deal with, but for all other USB uses, it was a real pain. On the Diablo 2, I am so glad to see all USB-C connections, an amazing new chassis design, and a better implementation of being able to use both sensitive IEMs and hard-to-drive headphones. It's tough to do both well. The Diablo 2 wins in this category. iFi is always ahead of the competition in terms of bringing the next hot technology. And with the addition of the XMEMS and the new Bluetooth 5.4 standard, I foresee a lot of Diablo 2 in my listening future. Now back to Kayla for more.
Every Diablo model has been an absolute beast, so it was not surprising that the Diablo 2 could drive every pair of headphones and IEMs that I tested. Just like the other models, it uses Burr Brown's DAC chip that lends a natural sounding musicality to the Diablo 2. The Diablo 2 has enhanced output power compared to the Diablo X, which was evident from the moment I connected my headphones. Sennheiser's IE900 earphones are one of the most sensitive IEMs we carry, and the Diablo 2 elevated their sound like I have never heard before. The IE900s are natural sounding and quite detailed, so I was pleasantly surprised to hear and actually feel a thumping bass. Drake's song Virginia Beach is fast-paced rap with some heavy-hitting bass, and the Diablo 2 was powerful enough to drive the IE900s so efficiently that I almost couldn't believe it. Deep, impactful bass that rumbled in my eardrums with great energy and dynamics. I adjusted the settings on the Diablo 2, switching on the IE match and using the turbo mode, which seemed to be the sweet spot for the IE900. Stay tuned for later in the video where we'll go over each of the power modes in more detail. For a power-hungry over-ear headphone, I tested the HiFiMan Susvara. The Susvara is incredibly hard to drive, and the original Diablo and Diablo X both struggled to drive the Susvara, so I was extremely surprised that the Diablo 2 could handle the Susvara. Finding a portable device to drive these headphones is like hitting the jackpot. It performed best with the Diablo 2 in the most powerful mode, Nitro, but the turbo power mode was also comfortable and sounded great. The Susvara has some nice bass to it, and there was plenty of energy in every song. It's got a neutral sound signature, and there was a nice balance between bass and detail. Because you can never test out too many headphones, next up on my list is the Dan Clark E3 closed back over-ear headphones. These planar magnetic headphones are hot off the press and are much easier to drive than the Susvara. The E3 performed best in turbo mode. Normal mode wasn't bad, but I felt like I didn't get as much headroom as I did in turbo mode. The E3 headphones are smooth and articulate. You won't get any crazy booming bass, just a precise, refined listening experience, which was exactly what the Diablo 2 and E3 delivered. Now, for the moment we've all been waiting for, Bluetooth mode. The Diablo 2 wirelessly connects to your source device, and it's as easy as holding down the button on the back panel for just 3 seconds. It supports all Bluetooth formats, with the most notable being aptX lossless. The sound quality in Bluetooth mode is great, and that says a lot because I've tested some pretty unimpressive Bluetooth hi-fi devices. Is it going to be as good as a wired connection? Of course not, but for Bluetooth 5.4 and lossless audio, it does a stellar job and you really can't beat the convenience. Overall, the Diablo 2 was an excellent source of power and amplification for every headphone and IEM that I tested. It didn't negatively color the sound of any headphones, allowing me to still enjoy the unique sound signatures of each pair. With that extra power did come some added bass, but it was tasteful, not overly accentuated or unpleasant. The Diablo 2 has great dynamics, and I truly don't really have anything bad to say about it. The original Diablo's fiery red chassis made it a real showstopper, sure to turn heads asking, hey, what's that? And honestly, I was sad to see it go when the Diablo X was released with the black chassis. Luckily, iFi decided to return to its roots, bringing back the red chassis, but they did it with a twist. The Diablo 2 looks like something Marty McFly would be whipping out of his back pocket and plugging into the DeLorean to enjoy hi-fi tunes while traveling through time. It's both retro and futuristic looking, and the color choices are reminiscent of the original Nintendo system, in my opinion. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall when iFi was discussing the design of the Diablo 2 because it's almost a complete 180 from the first two iterations. It's edgier, literally, with grooves around the entire chassis, and those rounded sides have been replaced with sharper corners. These grooves actually serve a purpose and are referred to as rails by iFi. There are 22 rails that allow for improved cooling performance, with 8 rails being compatible with the Diablo wings. What are the wings? The Diablo 2 comes with 4 wings that let you customize the position of the DAC. 2 are featured here, and then I have the larger 2 wings featured on the Diablo here. You can move these wings around to position the Diablo either horizontally or vertically to save space. On the front of the Diablo 2, you'll see the volume control knob with a newly added volume lock, balanced 4.4mm, XMEMS output, unbalanced 6.35mm output, power mode switch, XMEMS switch, and an audio Bluetooth format LED light. The back panel of the Diablo 2 has a 4.4mm input-output, SPDIF 3.5mm coax optical input, battery status LED light, USB-C 5V charging port, USB-C input, and Bluetooth pairing input mode selector button. Lastly, on the underside of the Diablo 2 is the IE match switch, which reduces the output level and has 2 switch settings, 4.4mm and 6.35mm. The Diablo 2 has 3 power modes, with each one affecting the battery life differently. Normal mode gets up to 12 hours of continuous use, turbo mode allows for 9 hours, and nitro mode allows for 6 hours of playback. Normal mode is for most over or on-ear headphones, turbo is for headphones that require some extra amplification, and nitro is for the most demanding, power-hungry headphones. The Diablo 2 is the first model to have 2 switches enabling and disabling IE match and XMEMS technology. XMEMS technology made its big debut in the hi-fi world earlier this year when iFi incorporated it into the Diablo X. This technology uses the piezoelectric effect, pretty sure I said that right, to create a paper-thin solid-state speaker. These micro speakers offer great potential to push the boundaries of IEM and headphone performance. IE Match is tailored for highly sensitive headphones and earphones, increasing the dynamic range of sensitive IEMs by reducing background amplifier hiss. Prior to the Diablo 2, it was only offered as a dongle accessory, so it's great to see it built right in. The original Diablo pioneered the way for the Diablo X and Diablo 2, and while nothing beats the OG, the Diablo 2 has a lot more to offer. It's the only model with Bluetooth, XMEMS, and IE Match built right in. It's also got USB-C ports, whereas the 2 earlier models had USB-A ports. The fact alone that the Diablo 2 has Bluetooth connectivity makes it more enticing than the OG Diablo and the Diablo X. In terms of sound, all 3 models sound phenomenal, and you can't really go wrong with any of them. The Diablo X was the first model to integrate XMEMS technology, and at the time, it wasn't featured in any other products in the hi-fi market. Because of that, there were very few XMEMS IEMs available, so the XMEMS mode was a little useless, but luckily that's changed. XMEMS mode is intended to be used with only compatible XMEMS IEMs, so the Diablo X was a little too powerful for non-XMEMS highly sensitive IEMs. Now that the Diablo 2 has an XMEMS switch, it's much more suitable for high sensitivity IEMs, making it the ultimate portable companion. The original Diablo will always be timeless with its fire red chassis, and the Diablo X is noteworthy for its use of innovative technology, but the Diablo 2 raises the bar for what we can expect to hopefully see more of from iFi in the future. So if you're looking for the most powerful, feature-rich DAC amp of the entire lineup, then I'm pleased to present to you the winner, the Diablo 2. While I've got nothing against stock audio cables, the ones that came with the Diablo 2 were just a little lacking for me. The USB-C to C cable was just too short, and I struggled to create the perfect desktop setup for my listening sessions. Naturally, I swapped the stock cable for a Black Dragon USB cable with C to C connections and was off to the races. Our Black Dragon USB cable will provide a more reliable connection for digital audio transmission. Now, you may be pleased with the stock USB cable, but are you happy with your headphones cable? Odds are you might be, but there's always room for improvement, and that's exactly what our Dragon headphone cables do. Improve your headphones sound quality while also providing a reliable and stylish connection for years of listening sessions to come. Personally, I enjoyed listening to the HiFiMan Susvara with our Black Dragon premium headphone cable, and for the IE900, our Silver Dragon MMCX IEM cable was the perfect match. The Black Dragon provided more bottom end weight to the headphones and gave me that musical warm sound that I love. Daily in our Cary NC headquarters, we handcraft our Silver, Black, and Blue Dragon and Bronze Dragon audio cables, each with their own unique sound signatures and characteristics. Our Blue Dragon headphone cable is the perfect match for the Dan Clark E3 headphones, not coloring the sound, but providing a neutral, clean, accurate representation of the E3. So, is the third time the charm? I'd say so. And honestly, every single Diablo model has been a slam dunk. It's not easy to release several iterations of a model and make it refreshing, but iFi has made yet another great new product. Nothing about the Diablo 2 feels recycled or tired. You get Bluetooth 5.4 and support for all Bluetooth formats, 3 power modes to drive all your headphones, and XMEMS technology if you decide to score a new pair of compatible XMEMS IEMs. Everything sounded great on the Diablo 2, but high-energy, dynamic genres like pop, rock, and hip-hop stood out to me the most. You can't go wrong with any of the Diablo models. They all have something unique to offer and will power many of your hi-fi headphones effortlessly. As for the Diablo 2, if you're questioning whether it's worth checking out, take my word for it. It's 3 Ps in a pod. Powerful, portable, and pretty dang awesome. As always, hit that bell and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any of our recent uploads, and be sure to check out our full review linked in the description below. Thanks so much for watching.